If you want to get in contact with me, the best way to do it is on Instagram. If you just want to say what up, if you want to tell me you love my videos, if you want to tell me you love my beard, the best way to do it is on Instagram. Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So Drake pretty much squashes his beef with everybody, and Doja Cat gets a little annoyed with her fans. Wale says he's the GOAT, and Will Smith and Jay-Z work on an Emmett Till series. Let's talk hip-hop. Yo, this is crazy, right? Because Drake, y'all know, right? Like, Drake had historically beef with Tyga, he had beef with Chris Brown, he had beef with Meek Mill, you know, and him and Meek Mill had that rap battle, and he called Meek Mill Twitter fingers and all that. They had a falling out. Some people say it was because of Nicki Minaj. I don't know though, right? He had beef with Chris Brown, right? So that was back when him and Meek Mill used to be cool, when him and Meek Mill was on one side in the club here in New York, and then Chris Brown was on another side in the club here in New York, and Meek Mill, well, I don't know, but somebody threw a bottle and it hit Chris Brown in the chin, right? So, you know, they had mad beef, right? And then, you know, he had beef with Tyga too, and it's crazy because Tyga and Drake were on the same record label, right? Both of them was on Young Money, along with Nicki and Lil Wayne and Gutta Gutta and Lil Twist and a bunch of Chanel and like a bunch of other rappers that we don't even hear about no more. But at least Drake and Nicki and Tyga are still huge, right? And then Tyga came out on Twitter, this was like years ago, man. This was like 2012, 2013, and he was like, Drake is mad fake. He a fake ass dude, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, Tyga was the real Twitter figures back in the day, right? But anyway, it seems like Drake patched it up pretty much with everybody, right? And this is fire, right? Because the last day of OVO Fest in Canada, which is, you know, Drake's kind of festival, concert kind of thing or whatever, he bought out Cardi B. And this is crazy because, you know, Nicki Minaj is like, pick a side, right? And Nicki Minaj wants Drake to be on her side, but, you know, Nicki Minaj kind of threw shots at Drake and Meek Mill when she did that freestyle on that Going Bad beat, which is a Meek Mill beat. And I think after that, Drake was kind of like, yo, whatever, man, with Nicki. And he basically picked a side because Meek Mill and Drake are both mad cool with Cardi B. You know, Meek Mill got a song with Cardi B. Drake doesn't have any music with Cardi B yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen, right? But anyway, so Drake brings out Cardi B, right, which a lot of people look at as a slap in the face to Nicki Minaj. He brings out Chris Brown, and you know him and Chris Brown are cool now after they did that No Guidance joint, and he was all in the video like, oh, Chris Brown, dancer extraordinaire, you know, which was mad funny. He brought out Meek Mill, which is dope because you know him and Meek Mill are cool now too. They did that Going Bad joint together. And then he brings out Tyga, right? And this is what really blew my mind because I never thought that like Tyga would be cool with Drake again, but Tyga came out, you know, dapped up Drake. They was in a hug and everything. Not only that, but if you bringing out Chris Brown and Meek Mill, who publicly Chris Brown and Meek Mill never like patched their beef up or nothing like that, but if you bringing out both of them, then they both got to be backstage, right? Chris Brown and Meek Mill. So what you telling me is that Chris Brown and Meek Mill are cool too? Like, this is fire, right? It's good to see like all these young goats like getting along again because it was so many years, well, like years ago, like maybe 2010, 2011, everybody was cool, but that's when everybody was trying to come up, right? And DJ Khaled had all of them on like a bunch of songs and everything, and then everybody fell out, you know, money, ego, whatever the case may be. But for years, maybe from like 2012 all the way to like 2018, a lot of these rappers didn't really mess with each other, didn't do music together, didn't talk to each other, didn't come out at shows and concerts together, didn't do photo shoots together, wasn't in the same videos, and it messed up a lot of like cool things that could have happened with the music during that era. It was like a 5-year span where Drake wasn't talking to Meek Mill, wasn't talking to Tyga, wasn't talking to Chris Brown, you know, Nicki Minaj was over here with Meek Mill. It was just like crazy, right? Like Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill were cool because they were together, and then they weren't cool, you know what I'm saying, because they broke up. It was just crazy. But it's good to see like all of these people like cool, chilling, at least cordial, right? I'm not saying they besties, I'm not saying they're gonna go out to, you know, brunch tomorrow, but at least they're cool and they're cordial. They're cordial enough to work together so that we can get some good music, right? That's the whole point, the good music, which is all dope. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
Oh, why though? way. How dare you guys? I know what you did. I know what you did. And I'm not 100% mad at you, but I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little bit annoyed that you would go and air my shit out.
Alright, yo. So Doja Cat is bad funny, right? And I love it. So she's there, right? So she did like a different series of lives where she was on Instagram and she was just like talking to her fans like, you know, rappers do, right? So she was basically like, not this one that I showed you a clip of, but one before that where she was like, yo, I got a crush on somebody. And then she was like really trying to explain who it was, but not saying the name, right? Just kind of toying with her fans and playing with them, right? So she was like, you know, he's like 43 years old. He's the type of dude that, you know, skateboards, but he's like one of these like eclectic kind of rappers. He's not like a gangster rapper, but she was like, at the same time, it seems like he hates the world, but if you really get to know him, he probably is like a mad cool dude or whatever like that. Just basically like saying that she has a crush on this guy, right? And her fans, you should have seen it. Like they was like trying to guess and they was throwing out names from everybody from like, you know, Lupe Fiasco to like The Game or something, you know? And she didn't say, yes, that's the one, right? But she did say, all right, one of you guys got it, right? But she didn't say like who got it or who it was still. And since everybody was calling out a bunch of names, there's no way to know like which name in there what she was talking about, right? But anyway, so the next day, she comes back on live and she's like, she was like, y'all just blew me up. Like y'all went and told him. I guess the fans figured it out. And I still couldn't personally figure it out. But I guess the fans went and told him that she has a crush on him. So she was like, I'm a little annoyed. Like I'm not completely mad, but y'all did blow my spot up when y'all told him that I had a crush on him or whatever like that, right? And we don't really know who it is, but I'm just trying to think like, and maybe y'all could let me know in the comments down below, but 43 years old, I mean, whatever, like y'all can probably just let me know who it is that Doja Cat has a crush on. But it was funny as hell, and she's just like trolling her fans a little bit and just enjoying her time and having fun with the fans, so that's cool, right? All I'm looking for is some new Doja Cat music. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. So Wale goes on Twitter yesterday, right? And y'all know that list of like the top 50 greatest rappers came out. So everybody's been talking about it. It's going viral. I saw Lil Durk, I think he put out one and he has like a bunch of rappers that he thinks are like the greatest, but he didn't put no number next to them because, you know, whatever, right? But on Lil Durk's list, he has more like, you know, Chief Keef on there and G Herbo and, you know, Kevin Gates and, you know, YBN. It just says YBN. It doesn't say Cordae, Namir or Almighty J. He has people like that on the list, and like everybody is like from the last 10 years, which is cool. You know, that's Durk's list, and so that's cool, right? Then Ebro puts out his own list, and he actually puts female rappers in there, which is cool. But his list was all crazy messed up. And then somebody made a top 50 R&B list. Like this thing is going crazy. It's going viral, and everybody's talking about like their top 50 list, right? So Wale comes out and he doesn't put out a list or anything like that, but he just basically says, well, I'm one of the greatest rappers of all time. There, I said it, right? He says that on Twitter, right? Then the Shade Room picks it up and they put it on their Instagram. So then he takes a screenshot of what the Shade Room says and he goes, I said what I said. Let me double down right here on my page. I love you and even you. But basically he's saying that he's the greatest rapper of all time, or one of them, right? And yo, ain't nobody saying that you not, bro. Like, for me personally, you know, I love Wale, right? I was down with Wale since still with my Nike boots, you know what I'm saying? Flyer than the rest of them, flyer than the rest of them. Like back in like, what was that, 2008? I think like Wale was like one of the first XXL, like the very first XXL freshman list in 2008 or 2007. Wasn't Wale on that joint with like Charles Hamilton and Asher Roth and a few other rappers? I think Lupe Fiasco was on that too. If I'm not mistaken, but like, yo, I've been down with Wale ever since then, right? And I'm still down with him now. Now, is Wale in my top 5? No, right? Is Wale in my top 10? No. but Wale is in my top 50, right? But regardless, even if Wale wasn't in my top 50, even if Wale was in my top 500, right, I would still agree wholeheartedly with what Wale is saying, because basically he's saying I'm the best, right? And if you are passionate about your art form, and if you put your blood, your sweat, and your tears into your art form, then you should believe that you are the best one doing it, right? So Wale is saying that he's the best rapper, that's cool with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I think I'm the best YouTuber, right? I might not have all, like, the most subscribers. I don't have 1 million subscribers, right? I don't even have 100,000 subscribers, right? But still, I think that I'm the best YouTuber. Maybe there are other YouTubers that have more subscribers than me, but that's just because they started before I did. But I am the best, bro. I got the best content and all the information. You could ask about me, nigga, ask about me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the way that you're supposed to think all the time, right? If you don't think that you're the best at something, then that means that you're not putting your all into something, right? And if you're putting your all into something, and if you are giving it your damn best, then you should think that you are the best, you know what I'm saying? So Wale is chilling and he's cool with me. There's a lot of people that were upset about him saying that, like, yo, Wale, you wildin' because you talking about you the best. And there were other people like, yo, any man or woman who puts their all into something should think that they are the best, right? So, hey, that's cool with me, man. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Alright, so Jay-Z and Will Smith, right? They've been shopping around like an Emmett Till series for a while now, right? For years, right? And originally, it was supposed to be like about the life and the story of Emmett Till, right? And so for y'all that don't know, Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy. He was from Chicago, but he was like with his cousins in Mississippi, right? He went into like a grocery store with some of his friends on a Sunday when his uncle was at church, and basically one of the cashiers, which was a white woman or a white girl at the time, you know, if the girl was probably the same age as Emmett Till, he was 14, right? So maybe Emmett Till was flirting with her, whatever like that. He's a 14-year-old kid. He sees a cute girl, you know, regular stuff, right? But back in 1955, when this happened in the South in Mississippi, you know, that was, nah, you don't flirt with no white woman at all, you know, regardless, right? And so basically the woman had like told her parents or whatever like that what happened. Long story short, you know, that night a mob of, you know, white men came to Emmett Till's home and abducted him and pulled him out of the house and put him in the back of their truck, right? They beat him senseless, they shot him in the head, they killed him, they lynched his body up, and then they threw his dead body in the river, right? A couple days later, 2 little boys found Emmett Till's swollen dead body in the river, right? And you know, it was all because of this little girl said that Emmett Till had like been inappropriate with her, whatever the case may be, right? Years and years and years later, which was a couple years ago, before that little girl died as an old woman, that little girl got to live her whole life out, and she died 80-something years old as an old woman. On her deathbed, she admitted that the whole Emmett Till story that she said when he was being inappropriate with her and everything, she was like, I have one more confession to make. He wasn't being inappropriate with me, which was crazy, right? So the whole story goes, or it's not a story, but the whole, you know, situation goes that, you know, Emmett Till's mom, who was in Chicago at the time, had his body shipped back up to Chicago where they had the funeral, and she famously did not want him to have a closed casket at all, right? She wanted it to be an open casket so that everybody could see what they did to her son in the South and how racism is crazy and disgusting, right? And so the whole situation is that after that, she became a huge activist for racism and equal rights. And so the story that, you know, Jay-Z and Will Smith were gonna tell throughout the series was that story right there. But I think that what they did was they decided to change it a little bit, and they decided to focus on the aftermath of Emmett Till's death and the triumphant story of his mother, Mammy Till, right? So it's gonna be more about a black female activist in the 1950s and 60s who was fueled by the death of her son in the South. So it's not going to be the Emmett Till story, it's going to be the mother's story after that, you know, and what motivated her to keep the casket open, and what did she do after that, and how did she help out other people who experienced racism during that time, right? So I think it's going to be all that because they want to focus on women and women empowerment, which is cool, right? And so now it's going to be on ABC, which is dope. So this is cool because about 5 years ago, Will Smith and Jay-Z also did the Black Little Orphan Annie too, and that was pretty good. So now they're going to do this as well. And I'm here for it. So let me know what y'all think about this and everything else in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell and follow me at Jonny Fastlane, that's Jonny Fastlane on Instagram, and y'all already know what to do. Peace.